This is Ain't No Way MMA. Today we're going to be talking about the UFC Fight Night, Covington versus Buckley.
I'm just going to lay down some predictions and break it down. First fight, I don't want to talk about it too much. We're just going to start from the bottom of the prelim, go to the main card. And the first fight is Knutsson. Unfortunate name. I think she's going to win by decision against Rodriguez. I don't think there's a whole lot to that. There's not a whole lot to this fight. Decision Knutsson. That's all I'm going to say. Now that we have that out of the way, we got Davey Grant and Ramon Taveras. Davey, I can't stay active to save my life. Grant is probably going to chin Ramon Taveras. I'm saying maybe second or third round. Grant usually has a really good pace. His cardio is really solid. And Taveras seems to gas out in the second and third. Usually the third. He has a decent gas tank, but Grant kind of wears on people. It's kind of his talent. He's a little bit unorthodox, a weird style overall. I could see this going to the third round, maybe a decision for Davey Grant, another split one, or probably a third round TKO for Davey Grant. Next up, we got my fight of the night pick in Miles Johns versus Felipe Lima. Miles, I have no gas tank. I'm actually a Ford Pinto. Johns is probably going to, put the hands on Felipe Lima in the first round. Felipe Lima is really good with the hands too, though. They're both really quick. Miles Johns is moving up to 145 pounds for this fight, so it'll be really interesting regardless. But I see Felipe Lima really wearing on him in the second and third, probably getting to his back and another submission in the second. If not, I'm saying third round TKO. But I think my official pick is Felipe Lima, second round submission. Fight of the night, it'll be a barn burner regardless. I think the first round is going to be insane. These guys both love the pressure, the fighter they're fighting usually. And it's Felipe Lima's second fight though, so maybe it will be different than I'm thinking. But from what I've seen in his debut and his regional scene before that, he's very high on pressure and he's got really good striking, capoeira style as well, with really good jiu-jitsu too. Miles Johns got that wrestling style with the hard hitting hands, nasty combos. He's only one or two hit combos usually though, whereas Felipe Lima can really string something together. Yeah, give me Felipe Lima's second round submission. Unfortunately, the next fight is a Sean Woodson fight. Sean Slenderman Woodson is not my favorite fighter to watch, and he's fighting someone who's, not the most entertaining. Oh man, I forgot what his name was. Fernando Padilla. Fuck.
You also skipped over Maverick. I'm pretty sure Maverick's before Johns and Lima.
Oh, I didn't even. It's because it's one line and everything else is like 40 lines. I didn't really have much for Miranda Maverick. Miranda Maverick, it's going to be a masterclass. I forgot to mention it earlier in the card. I could see it being a really easy win for her. She hasn't fought a top 15 opponent in a while. She's not even top 15 herself, so I don't know. Miranda Maverick, masterclass. I love the glasses. I like the whole shtick. She's fun to watch. She's 5'2", manhandles young chicks. Whoa. Miranda Maverick, I don't even know who she's fighting. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Who she's fighting?
Jamey-Lyn Horth?
Okay, yeah. Miranda Maverick masterclass. She'll dominate. She hasn't fought someone with real caliber of talent yet. She was supposed to fight Tracy Cortez, never did. Probably another unanimous decision for Miranda Maverick.
To expand upon what Gabe said about Miranda Maverick, she does kind of manhandle the other women in her division.
Woman handle?
Miranda Maverick does women handle other women in her division. She is 5'3", fighting people who are 5'6", 5'7". There are shorter people in her division, but it was fantastic to actually see her live. I believe Gabe and I have been to see Maverick twice. We saw her in Salt Lake as well as Anaheim, and she just bodies these other women, and I think she's a fantastic watch. I have absolutely no idea who Horth is, but good luck to her. She's a plus 340 underdog right now.
Deserved. That's a pretty easy pick. That's unanimous decision or sub for Miranda for sure. Unfortunately, we have to bring up Sean Woodson. I am personally not a huge fan of Sean Woodson. He's very boring. His last 6 fights, he should have lost them all. He has 2 split decision wins in that and 1 draw. The draw, he got dropped, he got dominated, but because there was a foul on the other end, he got some points taken away and barely came away with a draw. I still think he lost all 3 rounds. I don't know. Sean Woodson just seems to have the favor of the MMA gods, and I don't know why. He literally looks like Slender Slenderman, and it bothers me to no end. This guy's proportions don't make any sense. I do love that he went from kind of being a fat boy to, really skinny, but I don't know. I find him so boring on the microphone, and I don't have a reason to like him, so I don't really like him. He's fighting Fernando Padilla. He's not very good. He kind of has some fluky wins here and there. I don't really have him doing it much in this fight. But yeah, give me Sean Woodson by split decision, I guess. Next, we got Joel 100% finish rate Alvarez versus Drakkar. I can't even be considered a prospect because I'm 36 Klose. Everyone keeps calling Drakkar Klose a prospect. He's 36. It's like calling Lerone Murphy a prospect. I understand the win streaks. I understand they're building momentum. Cool. So they're considered a contender, right? No, they're not considered a contender because they're not good enough. Lerone Murphy is not a prospect. He's not good enough to be, he's too old to be a prospect. He's not good enough to be a contender. So it's like kind of that weird middle class where you're like 34, 35. You're on like the peak of your actual prime, but you haven't even gone high enough in the rankings for people to recognize you. And that's what's going on with Drakkar Klose. And he's fighting a really good finisher in terms of Joel Alvarez, 100%. You can't get better than that. Every time I see Drakkar Klose get a real step up in competition like he did against Beneil Dariush, he got chinned. So I see that happening again. Beneil Dariush has great hands and he mixes it up very well. Don't get me wrong. That was a barn burner of a fight. I loved Beneil Dariush versus Drakkar Klose. But Joel Alvarez is too clean on the feet. Unless Drakkar can really mix up the striking with the grappling and maybe get him to the ground and smudge him to a victory in the last 2 rounds and get a split decision like he did against Bobby Green, which he got decimated against Bobby Green.
Don't you mean King Green?
Shut up. Anyway. No, we are not calling Bobby. I will never call Bobby Green King Green ever.
But it's legally his name now.
Bobby Hoodrat Green is what I will refer to him as more likely. Anyways, I'm definitely going for a Joel Alvarez second round finish. I think he pieces him up in the first, defends takedowns that Drakkar tries to mix in, and then maybe finishes him with a good knee. I see Drakkar shooting for a takedown, getting caught with the knee, and just going out cold. And then we have Michael Johnson. Michael, I forget how to fight sometimes. Johnson is one of my favorite mythical fighters. He's fighting Ottoman Azaitar. Ottoman Azaitar is a pretty good fighter in the lightweight division. He's pretty consistent. This fight's a complete toss-up. This is the only fight I refuse to give a pick because Michael Johnson will either fight like he's prime Justin Gaethje, where he's got crazy hands and good wrestling, or he'll fight like CM Punk. And there's no real in between. I don't know what to do with him. I refuse to put money on Michael Johnson because every time I do, he looks like wet noodles. And every time I don't, he looks like Khabib Nurmagomedov. So, yeah. Caitlin just informed me that George Tokkos and Navajo Stirling are on the main card. I don't know what Dana White's smoking. I don't understand this matchup. George is not very good, and Navajo Stirling is. Navajo Stirling's a fire name, by the way. I'll be completely honest. That's a dope ass name. I would love a name like Navajo Stirling. I don't know. It's a dope name.
Navajo Stirling is fighting Tuco Tokkos, according to the UFC fight page.
I think his name is George Tokkos, but
Tuco
Tokkos. Let's go okay. Yeah, real. That's fun. I just give me Navajo Stirling by knockout second round. I don't know. No decision. I don't know them well enough. I think they're both not very good. I don't know why they're on the main card. This is kind of a filler fight. I don't know what Dana's doing on this one. This is the last fight of the year. Get your shit together, Dana. The bantamweight Jorge Masvidal. Adrian Yanez is finally back. I really enjoy watching him fight. Adrian Yanez is just like Joshua Van with a really shitty chin. And I don't know if I really enjoy his boxing like I used to after I watched a guy like Joshua Van. But I'm going to give him, the benefit of the doubt. I still like Adrian Yanez a lot. He's fighting a guy in Daniel Marcos, undefeated. I believe he's 16-0, but undeserved 16-0. The guy way back on the far end of the card, Davey Grant, beat the tar out of him, but got handed a decision anyways in that Daniel Marcos split decision victory. I don't see a whole lot of paths of it to victory for Daniel Marcos except for smudging him. If he smudges him all 3 rounds, sure, he can win. But I'm hoping Adrian Yanez really worked on his grappling since his last 2 outings and puts the boxing hands on him. So I'm going probably a round 1 or 2 KO for Yanez. I think he puts his name back out there. Really good performance. He needs it. He really needs it because people are forgetting who he is now. He was a really hot prospect at some point, but then he started getting chinned. If the chin holds up and he doesn't get smudged, I could see an Adrian Yanez finish in the first round. Anthony Smith's biggest hater is on the main card for some reason. Vitor Petrino is back, the guy who got absolutely guillotined to death by falling into a guillotine on purpose. And Anthony Smith is out here fighting Dustin Jacoby. Dustin Jacoby is a super overrated fighter, in my opinion. Everyone seems to nut ride this guy because he had a really close fight with Khalil Roundtree. I think very slightly Dustin Jacoby edged out a victory. It was not a robbery. Other than that, Dustin Jacoby doesn't really have a lot to his record. He got chinned by Dominic Reyes. He got absolutely mollywopped by most active light heavyweights, and I don't think he has a lot of potential in the sport at all. His grappling's mid, and his kickboxing is mid too, even though he's a glory kickboxer. He's pretty mid overall. I see Vitor Petrino kind of getting like a unanimous decision, probably smudges in the last 2 rounds. I don't see this fight being a barn burner. I hope they prove me wrong. That'd be nice, but I doubt it. So not a whole lot going on in that one. Just a reminder, Dustin Jacoby lost to Alonzo Zero IQ Menafield. Well, you remember those fights with Jimmy Crute. We didn't forget. Take that into account when you're making your picks. Manel, I love slurs Kape is next up with a really good fight, actually. I really like this matchup against Bruno Silva. It seems like everyone's gearing Manel Kape up for like a next fight is like, oh, he's going to be fighting for the belt after that. But I don't see that happening against a guy like Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva's on a 4-fight finish streak. Manel Kape hasn't had a finish in a good 2 years almost now. Kind of shy away from the finishes. I know he's fighting bigger competition, but Bruno Silva's been fighting good competition and, you know, nuking these guys. Manel Kape lost to Mateus Nicolau. Let's put that into perspective. Everyone seems to forget that. I don't really see a path to victory for Kape other than a fluky knockout. Bruno Silva has been known to be a little bit chinny in the past. Honestly, I see this going to the ground, and I see Bruno Silva getting a 3rd-round submission, if not a smudge decision. In the co-main event, we got actually a pretty fun fight. Billy, I can't seem to get in the top 15, Quarantillo versus, the San Diego native, Cub Swanson. I'm pretty excited for this fight. I think it'll be a little bit of a barn burner. Billy Quarantillo seems to bring out the most in people because he's an absolute pace and cardio monster. Cub Swanson's been known to kind of melt under that sort of pressure in the past, but he always throws up some crazy stuff. Billy Quarantillo is known for being chinny. And Cub Swanson's the guy who throws out bombs on the regular, especially when he's getting pressured. I could see a guy like Cub Swanson catching him on the outside, maybe against the cage, flying knee, overhand right, something crazy like that. But other than that scenario, I see Quarantillo melting him and probably getting a really dominant decision win. I'm looking forward to that one especially. For the main event, we got Colby. Please notice me, Trump. Please notice me, Trump. I'm still your favorite fighter, right? No, buddy. He specifically said Islam Makhachev is his favorite fighter, which is a little cringe. But, it is what it is. It's okay, Covington. And, he's fighting the GOAT, Joaquin Buckley, New Mansa. I'm really excited for this matchup. I've been looking for Joaquin Buckley to get a fight where he's actually more well recognized against like a well-known name like Colby Covington's. I do not see a single path to victory for Colby Covington. Joaquin Buckley has better grappling. I know, I said it. Maybe not better cardio. Colby Covington is a cardio machine, but if you've ever seen a Joaquin Buckley fight, the way he mixes up his hands to his grappling is second to none. He takes that Mike Tyson lower stance where he's peekaboo left to right, and he uses it to shoot takedowns. I don't think Colby Covington's going to be ready for that. I think Colby Covington's getting old. He fought horribly against a guy in Leon Edwards, Mumblemouth himself. I don't think Colby Covington has it anymore. I think Joaquin Buckley is really going to get in there and show his new mettle, probably chin him in the 3rd or 4th. I could see Colby Covington putting his hands down, making a mistake. He's been chinned by guys like Kamaru Usman, where he's not known for his hands, where Joaquin Buckley is. Joaquin Buckley has that star factor. I think this fight's going to catapult him to the top of the welterweight division. So I'm really excited. I could see him fighting Ian Gary after this. Cuckley versus Buckley. Please still happen. I'd love for it to happen. It'd be really funny. I got a Joaquin Buckley 3rd-round KO, probably knocking out Colby Covington cold, honestly. I know Colby Covington's known for having a good chin. I know. But I don't know. Buckley hits different. Look at Embeka Sanganai. Bro was unconscious on the canvas. He's got a really good chin. So it'll be interesting if Colby can get him into the later rounds, 4th and 5th. I have never seen Joaquin Buckley have good cardio in the 4th and 5th round. I don't think he's ever dragged there often. It'll be exciting regardless. I don't see it being fight of the night. I think it'll be dominant for Buckley, but who knows? Maybe Colby Covington can have that like late energy burst where he did against Leon Edwards in the 5th round, where he got that 5th round. I think it's going to be too little too late. Colby Covington is not a finisher. He's not going to finish Joaquin Buckley. Exciting main event, overall card. I rate this card a good 9 out of 10, honestly. From top to bottom, it's pretty stacked, and I like the prospects in it. There's a lot of opportunities for like fight of the year at the end of the year, since it's the last fight card of the year. It'll be interesting. So